It's me, Kayla Engeman, your fantasy girl, here to take you on my fantasy football journey this season as I try to win my league and prove that no one knows anything at all whatsoever about this game like they pretend to, and appearing so is just a, say it with me, fantasy. Last night was the draft, and I suffered a betrayal that was, and I don't want to be dramatic, on a biblical level. If it wasn't evident from last week's episode, the story goes that every year I draft Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. Every year it's my first pick. Last year I was brave enough to wait until the third round. This year my plan was to draft Travis Kelce and then Patrick Mahomes back to back because it was a snake draft and I had the 12th pick. The 6th pick of the draft was by my former friend, Nick McGee, and he picked Patrick Mahomes. The scream that I emitted was guttural. It came from deep within multiple chakras. It's a sound I myself had never heard. And then, much worse, the next pick was that of manager Eric Ziwak. Oh, is that a familiar name? Why, yes, it is the guest from last week of whom I trusted with my plans and who guided me to green draft pastures. And he drafted Travis Kelce. That is a lesson that I frankly could end this podcast over. You don't need to know anything else about fantasy football. You can trust no one. Your friends are your competitors, and they are no longer anyone who cares about you. I'm just going to play a quick little clip that I edited out from last week. Here it is.
Kayla, are you going to pick Mahomes and then Kelce back to back?
That's my plan. I will pick Patrick Mahomes every year, even when he retires. He is my man. Needless to say, I am broken. I am now the proud owner of a team whose quarterback is, I don't even remember. I have to look it up. I have to look up who my quarterback is because I can't even remember who is it. My quarterback is Kirk Cousins. Let's debrief. Our guest this week is my friend Kenton Scott, who I'm assuming is going to be a former friend after this week because, as we learned, there are no friends in fantasy. He is a comedian. You can catch him in New York City. He also has a very funny TikTok, and I know every host is supposed to say that, but I genuinely really like it, called Kenton Talk. He also is on Twitter and Instagram if you search Kenton Scott. He really is very funny, as much as I hate him and his guts and his entire personality and lifestyle. He is extremely funny, and you can catch him around the city. So let's see what this jabroni has to say. Kenton, did you draft in person with the boys or did you draft remotely?
I drafted in person with the boys and our friend Jenny, who showed up for some reason. Biggest mistake of her life. I don't know why she did that.
What was going on at that bar?
Well, I got there like 10 minutes before the draft, and they were sitting outside at this bar. It was 94 degrees or something like that. And I was like, okay, are we going inside? And they're like, no, it's humid out. It's fine. It's nice. It's all in the wintertime. You're going to be wishing you were out here. So by like round 3, I was fully drenched in sweat. And I think that was a tactic by one of our friends to make us all draft badly. Are we allowed to name names?
Yeah, I'm going to name a lot of names today.
Oh, good. I can't wait. I'm so happy I'm on this episode.
during the draft, during the first round, something horrible happened. And I just want to know, did you witness it happen? What was the reaction? This is about me.
Yeah, no, I think what you're referring to is when our dear friend Nick McGee drafted a quarterback in the first round, which was maybe the dumbest decision anyone's ever made in their life. But he just happened to be a quarterback that you really like, right?
Did it seem like he was doing it out of spite, or was he doing it genuinely?
I mean, do you want me?
Yes,
Yes, he 100% was.
out of spite.
I mean, no, spite. He literally said, I think by pick 3, he was like, "How funny would it be if I drafted Patrick Mahomes?"
I'm
And
gonna have a fucking aneurysm.
we said that would be pretty funny, but someone else was like, "Well, Travis Kelsey's probably going to go by her pick too. So what if she can't get either?" And then I think the plan began.
Wait, are you telling me that Z-Wack was in cahoots with Nick McGee?
Oh, I don't think Z-Wack was in cahoots. Z-Wack probably drafted Travis Kelsey because he thinks that's a great pick.
He did. We were on fucking chat, and when Nick drafted Patrick Mahomes, I got up and I walked around, and then when Z-Wack, it was his turn like immediately after, and he was like, "Sorry, Kayla," and he hit the button, and I let out the loudest scream I ever have in this apartment complex. They probably thought I was getting straight up chopped.
I was on that Google Hangout, can confirm it was unpleasant.
I was like, there's no way that she'll be in public and be visible during that because she might commit a crime.
I said unspeakable things about him that I'm going to have to edit out. Like, what was I saying yesterday?
I wasn't even going to repeat them. They were so bad. Like deeply, deeply personal. Imagine her invoking real people, people that Nick presumably loves and cares about.
Who are
And-
faking it, by the way, in return.
See, right there. Right there. There it is.
Okay, Kenton, tell me about your wins and your losses and your worries about your draft and, whatever. Life's meaningless.
Haley, you need to sound interested.
First episode was so professional. And
The first episode is going to be completely different in tone. It's going to be like, "Hey, I'm Kayla," and then the next one's going to be, "Yeah, whatever. I'm Kayla. I'm your fantasy girl, and I'm in a league, and who the fuck cares? And we're all going to die." Okay, Kenton. So, talk me through your drafting process. Did it go as you thought it would? Did you have a strategy? Did you wing it? Are you mad about things? Walk me through it.
yeah, my strategy was pretty much just like to go off of vibes. I had the second pick and I tried to do my little confusion on Allie and get her to not draft Justin Jefferson. It did not work. So
It didn't work. It almost did, but it did not.
What'd you do to Allie?
I just sent her like a news article that's like Jamar Chase poised for a breakout 2023. Like I felt like if we just overwhelmed you with like a bunch of news, maybe you would draft Christian McCaffrey.
The rest of them all texted me at the exact same time.
About what?
Just being like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to pick? Just trying to get in my head.
That's what this is all about. To bring it back to that question, yeah, that was pretty much what I did. I don't really listen to ESPN. I have like other nerds that I follow and get advice from. And I found like this like ranking sheet that tells you the value of each player, and I just kind of choose from there.
Kenton, who are you most excited to have on your roster?
I think it's pretty obvious having the second pick, choosing Jamar Chase. I'm happy about that. It's my first time ever drafting a wide receiver in the first round. I've never had like the top receiver before, so that might be fun for me.
You have a top receiver, not the top receiver. Allie has the top receiver. No thanks to you.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is his year.
Quick question for me. I'm going up against Dan, who won the last season. I didn't realize that Alvin Kamara was suspended when I drafted him, which is stupid because now he's out for 3 weeks. So now I have to bench him. And I put in Raheem Mostert, which I like because he's good. But then I drafted Calvin Ridley and I drafted Christian Kirk because I heard that they were going to be, quote, nasty. But if they're both going to share touches, they're both wide receivers on the Jaguars, it's not smart to put them in at the same time, is it?
I mean, it depends kind of on like how much you believe in the offense. Usually when it's usually kind of frowned upon to do that. But if you believe, the offense is going to be a pretty pass heavy offense, like a lot of times there are 2 receivers that are viable. My second tier receiver is Jalen Waddle, who most people predict is the second option in the Dolphins offense. So you just have to believe that they're going to air it out.
I don't know that they are, though. I guess my question is, should I put as my flex Christian Kirk or who I have in currently, Rashad Penny, and don't wince, Michael Gallup?
I was about to ask, why wouldn't Michael Gallup be your star? You believe in him.
This is not about beliefs. This is about numbers. I'm looking at the projections, and Christian Kirk has the highest projected points. So he is the one I want to flex, but the projections are actually bullshit.
Projections, we have no idea, especially going into week 1. I don't know how much you're watching the Jacksonville Jaguars preseason games, but
Not at all.
I have a life that I'm somewhat content with.
Is Jacksonville good this year?
He's saying he doesn't know because he has a very full life, Allie. They're going to be nasty, I heard.
I've heard good things as well. Allie, you have one of their running backs, right?
I know, and I had him last year too.
He was pretty good.
It's good. He got better towards the second half. This is the other Travis, Kayla. Why?
The French Travis.
Yeah, Etienne or Etienne. How do you say it?
Okay, so Christian Kirk, Rashad Penny, Michael Gallup, KJ Osborne, or Joshua Kelly. Who do I flex?
I don't feel very strong about KJ Osborne, if I'm honest with you. Joshua Kelly is, the second running back. He's kind of like a good handcuff to have in case Eckler gets injured, and you don't want to start him. So it really does seem like Christian Kirk is your best option. Last season, he was really good. I'm pretty sure I had him last season. But now, obviously, Calvin Ridley is kind of the top spot in that offense. But they're playing Indianapolis, which is going to be a terrible team. You got to kind of hope.
I don't appreciate that all of your advice is very spiritual. I'm really here for hard facts for someone who's done very well year after year.
Thank you. Maybe the positivity is what is allowing me to do so well, but I'll give you.
You're so fake.
I did very well in high school. Thank you.
You would be great on Survivor.
That's the dream.
You would be so good on Survivor or Big Brother.
Yeah, I think I would like Big Brother more just because I do like showering.
Back to brass tacks.
Sorry.
Are you a tinkerer when it comes to fixing your lineup? Do you adjust every day or do you set it and forget it?
It's a great question. I'm definitely a tinkerer. I'm trying to be a reformed tinkerer. I would love to just not care about this at all and, live my beautiful life. But unfortunately, it is kind of one of the things that I enjoy making my friends feel bad about. So I do like beating them. So a lot of times I overthink it. And I think that's the big challenge is trying to figure out if you're changing things for the right reasons or if you're changing things just for the sake of changing them.
When it comes down to the wire, do you go off of gut feelings of like, no, I want to put Calvin Ridley in? Or do you go off of like, well, the numbers are better? And sometimes I even go on Google and I go, should I start blank versus blank? And it will tell me, and I'll just do that.
Literally, that is exactly what I do. I Google that. I go on Twitter and I search like the name or the other name, and I just like go through the tweets. And if it's like enough, well, it used to be verified people, but now that's kind of ruined for me. So if I had an original thought about fantasy, it is so rare. Literally, I'm just going off of what I assume a nerd who cares about this a lot thinks is right, and then I do that, and a lot of times they're right, and that's great for them.
Before this call, I was drafting for my work league, and I had the last pick of the draft again. And so I did Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So now I have 2 leagues. One is an alternate reality of what would have happened if Nick McGee had never been born. So we'll see how the 2 leagues play out. And also that one I don't really care about. So that's another interesting variable.
You still got him?
No, I didn't get him. He was taken from me. And you know what? John was like, it had to happen sometime. I'm glad it finally happened.
Yeah, you don't get to if you wanted to be able to keep players over and over, then you should do a dynasty league.
No, because then it's not a clean slate every year. Then it's not an even playing field. And I like the risk that I might not get him because even though I'm in a full rage, he is going to lose so hard this year. And then everyone else is going to feel like Patrick Mahomes is leprosy. And no one's ever going to take him ever again because he's going to lose so bad to me. And my name, Mommy's Big Spanking, will be on that trophy the 1 year I didn't get Patrick Mahomes.
While that happened in your fit of rage, how did you like come to make a decision in who you drafted?
Well, my sister's also in a league, and I was advising her on her draft. And I ended up drafting pretty much the same players that I told her to draft, which is George Kittle, Tony Pollard. She got Nick Chubb, but I really wanted Calvin Ridley this year. I wanted Stephon Diggs as much as I wanted Travis Kelce, so I'm glad I got him. So I think this is going to be a great year for me. I'm not projected to win this week.
It's a long season.
People always say that. I was doing really well my first season, and then it got all ripped out from under me at the last couple rounds.
Is that the season that I beat you and won the championship?
Okay, let's end this. Good night.
Thanks for having me.
Let's fucking talk about it, Benedict Zwak. Question number 1. Did you know you were going to betray me last week when we were on the podcast and I graciously hosted you?
Absolutely not, Kayla. To be honest with you, I was shocked Kelce fell to me. He was expected to go around 5-6 in mocks. And yes, the injury yesterday likely caused him to fall. With that being said, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to have him. I was looking at guys like Bijan Robinson. He went way early. Stephon Diggs and Kelce were the options, but I couldn't pass on Kelce. Even if he misses tomorrow's opening game, he's too good.
So a simple no would have sufficed.
I feel like I have to clarify my reasoning, so.
I loved his evil little laugh after. He's like a super villain.
The way you act like you had no agency whatsoever in this decision.
Did you hear the scream I emitted when you selected Travis Kelce?
Yeah, but I think the Mahomes one was much louder.
If you were to shoot me in the face, like Nick McGee did when Patrick Mahomes was drafted, that's one thing. But you shot me in the heart, and you made the kill. So I was already going to die a slow death, and you were just like, let's end it now. Is that better or worse?
To be honest with you, Kayla, Nick taking him that early, that was risky. I mean, I don't know why you're taking a quarterback that early. Mahomes, if anybody where your position was 12th, perfect, or second round. But that early, no way. So I think you should count your stars.
What adjective describes your intentions best? Deceitful? That's all I can think of.
It's just fantasy football, Kayla. The cards, like I said last time on the show, I'm going to play the board. And I did play the board, and Kelsey fell in my lap at position 9.
I've been friends with you for 13 years, you jabroni.
All's fair in love and fantasy football, Kayla.
Who did you pick first in your other leagues? Tell me. I want to know her name.
I actually had another draft today, and I took Bijan Robinson with the 7th pick. Believe it or not, and Travis Kelce somehow wrapped around to the 2nd and got him. So I got 2 first-round values in my first 2 picks. I call that a steal.
You make me sick. Question number 2.
Yes.
Considering the deep betrayal that I suffered and the major pivots I had to make, having disclosed my plan to you and then being stabbed and shot in the face repeatedly, how did I do? How do you think I drafted?
I like to clarify, I wasn't trying to attack you. I think Nick has a vendetta against you.
That wasn't the question.
I just wanted to clarify my standings. But looking at your team, I think you have a really solid team. I love Calvin Ridley. I feel like he's going to have a monster year coming back. Stephon Diggs is always reliable, like mentioned before. He's a top guy. Tony Pollard, now finally he has the reins in Dallas. He's going to run amok, I really feel. And you got arguably the second best tight end. So you didn't get Kelsey, you got George Kittle that fell in love. That's great. And then, you have Kamara on your bench. He'll be back in a couple weeks, but hold him when you can. You do have Christian Kirk. He's really good. He'll be the number 2 with Ridley. If I were you, maybe try to float maybe Kirk out there for maybe another running back just to solidify, because Kirk will get a lot of points, just to cover yourself. And Mostert's a solid. He's the number 1 guy in Miami as of now. And they'll be running a couple guys, but he does it all. So I think your team's in a good shape. I really do, honestly.
Final question.
Yeah.
Where do you get off giving me fucking advice after we had this discussion a week ago and then you used it against me? I'm not listening to a damn thing you have to say.
All right. I mean, it's like that time you didn't trade Mahomes or Allen. So, I mean, that shot you in the foot before. So.
Kenton, Allie, do you have anything to say to this piece of garbage?
I just don't understand why Kayla didn't draft Sky Moore instead.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you.
Last night you described my team as fun. And you know what? I'm going to read that all season.
And you should. I mean, there are fun guys. Like ETN does it all. He catches, he runs. Pachenko, undrafted rookie last year, goes off, wins a Super Bowl. He's a fun player. Hurts is exciting. He does it all. And he could get you almost 25 points a game every week. And then you have the best receiver in football, arguably Justin Jefferson. So, I mean, you're sitting in a nice hot seat, which is good.
We're having fun.
Exactly. You're having fun.
If I was speaking to you, which I'm not, I would say that calling someone's team fun isn't really confidence inspiring. I would like for my team to be called bold, victorious, and another long word.
Well, you can't guarantee it, right? It's just the draft. Everything could fall in everyone's faces. One injury can affect a team's whole game plan, and then you're screwed, and then you got to scrounge, and so you never know what could happen.
Any last words before I end this?
Good luck to everyone in the league, and thank you so much for having me on the show twice. It's truly been a pleasure to talk about my passion for football, and I hope to come back someday, but I don't think Kayla would ever want me back.
You disgust me.
Fair enough.
Let's just, before we go, let's look at the projected standings. So we have Mommy's Big Spanking projected to come in 7th. We have Allie's team, Corn Cob TV, projected to come in 6th. We have Kenton's team, the Bridgewater Elves, projected to come in 4th. And ZWAC, what is your team name? Lights, Camera, Jackson?
Yes.
So pure. Projected to come in 3rd.
Wow.
That's going to change.
Doesn't mean anything.
We shall see.
All right, anyway, yeah, whatever. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next week. And I hate you. And I'm going to kill you in your sleep. And I hope you are mad about it.
I'm sure like a whole 7 minutes of this will be usable.
It's going to be the shortest episode.
We talked for a long time about what pile driving was in the opening, and I'm going to have to cut all that out.
No.
Oh, my God.
My dad listens to this.
I forgot that like parents are going to listen to this.
Maybe he could learn something about it.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much. Good night. See you Tuesday. Goodbye. Well, I know this episode probably wasn't nearly as helpful as last week's. It was a lot more personality and, frankly, rage than anything else. But it's really giving you an insight to the culture of fantasy football, which is, in the words of Dodgeball, you gotta get angry. It's honestly a great outlet, and I would say it's all fun, but it's not. I'm extremely mad, and I barely slept last night. But onward and upward, I'm gonna win this league. Because now I have a reason to, more than I ever have before. We're getting to the end zone here, so thank you for being part of my fantasy, and I'll see you in week effing 2.